Good afternoon. This is Selexi, principal author of The Sinister's Wife, creator and founder of Your Life Reimagined in the Heaven's Mind book series. I just wanted to stop in to give an update regarding the book, The Sinister's Wife. Just wanted to let you all know that although this book was originally written to allow or enable the wife of a minister to share her story regarding the struggles of dealing with infidelity, being married to a man in a leadership role, and also being married to a man in the pulpit. What has developed as a result of the release of this book is an unexpected, and I'd have to say very, very necessary and timely opportunity for me to further heighten awareness regarding sexual assault in America. Of course, I am an Indianapolis native by way of South Haven, Michigan. And so I basically have decided that I would, be the voice of the victim. And again, The Sinister's Wife has created the platform for that. I sat in contemplation after the last video. I had an in-depth conversation with one of my aunts. And prior to that, I had an in-depth conversation with another family member. And the reality is that for far too long, we keep things a secret. For far too long, we've been encouraged to keep our mouth shut. For far too long, we really and literally could have prevented much of what is happening within our families and our communities. I met Maurice Frazier, the main character of The Sinister's Wife, over 20 years ago. And it was before he became a minister. And had I spoken up at that time, perhaps, much of what he did following my sexual assault could have been prevented. At the very least, maybe he would not have been able to attain the role of minister, at least not in the church that we attended. Now, the church that Maurice Frazier was a member of and a youth pastor at is also the church that I belong to. And also the pastor of that church is a relative. So when I say that, I could have prevented his role in the youth ministry at that church. It's possible. I don't know that my influence would have been that long or that strong. However, speaking up about the character of this young man could have very well prevented the teenager from being molested. I will say that. The other thing I wanted to talk to you about is, even though this book was a collaborative effort, obviously, if you've been following this page, the contributing author, the person who gave permission to write this story because she so diligently wanted to share her story with the world. She wanted and hoped that her story would help some other woman married to a philandering minister. She hoped that she could somehow facilitate their healing with this story. Well, clearly, this story has far more impact and far more reach than just helping the minister's wife to heal. This story has the potential to also help victims of the main character, the young women at the prisons that he worked at, on the sheriff's department that he worked with, as well as the young teenage victim. This story has the potential to help them begin the inner work of healing as well. I know that even though it's been several years, and I have to honestly say that, yes, I'm completely healed. I'm completely over all the things that have happened to me during my childhood and up into my teenage years, and of course, well into my 20s when my sexual assault occurred. There are a lot of people who are angry about the content on this page, even though the book was written with the purpose of helping people heal, at least to begin the inner work of healing. So let's not get beside ourselves with pride, shame, and embarrassment. Let's focus on the good, on the awareness, on the prevention that this book, this page, my words, my videos, all the things that we've created to bring this situation to light. Let's know that this isn't an effort to prevent this type of behavior from occurring anymore. I have 2 granddaughters and I have 2 grandsons because we know that boys are not exempt from this type of sexual assault. We've heard it for years, everybody. Even the Pope, the bishops in the Catholic churches, even the nuns are taking advantage of our youth. And they'll do it to adults if they have the opportunity, because some of us, as grown as we may be, can still be very naive. I have been a minister in the traditional church, the traditional Christian church. I firsthand know what goes on. Firsthand. And honestly, I've also been a part of all that drama in the church. I've been in a leadership role in the church beyond being a minister. I've been the choir member. I've been in the prayer circles. I've benefited, contributed, and suffered the consequences and outcomes of all those things. Now, this is not about church bashing, because if you're astute and adept, then you know that this right here is the church. This body temple represents the church. It is not a building. Be not deceived. The building that goes by the name of a church or a tabernacle or a temple or a mosque or a cathedral, that is a title of the structure that churches, body temples meet in to worship a God that they cannot see. So I just want to ask again, and I'll say this again, this is really not about bashing churches, because I know many of you have a very fruitful life and existence being a member and a part of a church. And I know this kind of stuff doesn't go on in your church. But just know that there is public documentation of everything that we are discussing in this book. There is public documentation of everything that we are discussing on this page. I, as a businesswoman, have not violated anyone's privacy by sharing public information on this page. Basically, all I've done is made your job easier. You don't have to Google any specific topic to find out where the information for this book came from. You don't have to Google to find out the more expanded information about this particular story. You don't have to do that. But all of this information is available to you at your fingertips. Unfortunately, the family that released permission to share this story, to share this book, they are now very upset, very angry, very disturbed that the marketing, the promotion, and the advertisement has taken this turn. And I understand that. I understand that. I get that. This is in no way meant to hurt anyone any further. However, the fact remains, we have an enormous number of people who are in leadership positions who are taking advantage of that, and they are taking advantage of our children. They are taking advantage of us. You are paying your tithes and offerings to these structures that are supposed to be safe and holy places, and behind the scenes, they're having their way with your children. This happens even if the leaders are your relatives. So let's just talk about that. All the sexual molestation and incest and sexual abuse, sexual assault that have occurred in our families, and none of us are willing to speak out about it. And I know a lot of you who are probably watching this now or who follow this page, you're probably also fans of several television shows. One in particular that goes by the name of Star, starring Queen Latifah and Brandy Norwood. Patti LaBelle plays their mother. And Queen Latifah's character was molested by her stepfather. And from that molestation, a child was born. Now, if you've ever read any of the other Heaven's Mind books, I explored this topic in great detail in the Heaven's Mind, a trilogy series. There's all kind of stuff that goes on in our families that we don't even want to admit or talk about. And even if the mother or the grandmother or the auntie or the uncle or the cousin, even if they're aware, even if they have been victims themselves, don't tell. Don't tell. Many of you who see the celebrities and the stars taking pictures or posing for photo ops and have this finger over their mouth, you think that has something to do with Illuminati or some sort of conspiracy. And I'm not saying that I know, but is it possible that what they're really trying to subliminally tell you is what they had to do to get where they are? Now, many might think that what I'm doing is because I want to achieve some level of fame or fortune, but I will tell you this, that even in my discussions with the young lady who contributed to this story, even with that discussion, I sat at her dining room table and I said to her that this book could serve as the platform to alert the entire world of all the crap, for lack of a better word, for all the hurt and the pain and the suffering and the abuse that many have suffered and have been told to keep silent. Don't tell. Don't tell. Well, at 51 years of age, my silence is over. And if it comes with collateral damage, it doesn't matter. If what I am sharing with you on this page as a result of this book that two women agreed to write and publish, if that saves just one young boy, one young girl, one naive individual from being taken advantage of at the hands of a so-called leader, then, sweetie, my efforts are not in vain. I am not too proud to share my experience. I've written about it over and over again. One of the reasons I was able to stand in the gap and share this story from the contributing author to experience all that she experienced being married to this man is because I have my own experiences. No, this is not my story. And it's not my story to tell. However, it was the story that I was granted permission to write. It's something I'm very passionate about. It's something that I'm very serious about. So again, I apologize for any pain, hurt, and suffering that this is causing the families of the individuals involved in this book. I do. But can you, for 1 minute, put your pain and suffering aside and look at the bigger picture? If the true intent of this book was to help someone else, if the people who reviewed this book thought that it was jaw-dropping and captivating, not just because of everything that this woman went through, but that because we were willing to share the story. Lady Lou commented that this is the blueprint for the inner work of healing. What I want to do is prevent the necessity of being healed. That's what I came to do. That's what I am here for. That is my aim. That is my purpose. That is my role. It is what I do. I may not be a minister in the traditional church anymore, but my ministry has never stopped. I have a voice. I have a mind, and I use them both to change, or at least attempt to change, to serve as a catalyst to end this type of abuse. There is no reason for it. Clearly, we have millions of men and women in this world who will freely give you sex. We do. So obviously, these individuals who are committing these crimes, these individuals who are using their power, control, and influence to have their way sexually with young people, with adults, with men, women, lesbians, gays, transgender, it doesn't matter. When these people use or take advantage of the fact that they have some level of control and power and influence, and because they have that, they think that they can have their way with you? No, absolutely not. And I will continue to speak out about it. And I will use every platform available to me to do so. So for those of you out there who have decided that you hate me even though you do not know me, for those of you out there who have decided that I am some demon spawn, some thief, some accuser of the brethren, some freeloading, money-hungry, bald-head bitch and or whore, for those of you who think that, you have allowed yourself to become a part of the jacked up system that we live in. You can't see the forest beyond the trees. You refuse to. The scales have not fallen from your eyes. And though you have eyes to see, 2 of them, mind you, and ears to hear, 2 of them, mind you, none of you choose to use the one thing that can actually bring change. That is your voice. The word says the power of life and death lies in the tongue. You can speak both life and death. Well, I am here to speak life. I am here to speak life. This book was written to speak life. My book series were written to speak life, to give voice to the victim. You can look at any book that I've ever written, and even if it looks like it may just be some erotic mess, there's always a valuable lesson to be learned in reading the transformational literature that I write. So again, I'll say, I'm not just doing this for shape, form, or fashion. It is because the world in which we live have too many people walking around here keeping secrets. Now, if you have something constructive to say, please feel free to post your comments. If you have nothing constructive to say and only low vibrating phrases and comments and words and derogatory terms, if that's all you have, please keep them to yourself. There'll be no more spell casting on this page. I will delete you and or ban you from the page. This page has purpose, as do I. And I will continue to operate in mine, whether you like it or not. And if any other individual feels the need to have the support or the hand-holding or the voice or the use of my fingers to tell your story, then I am here for you. For you. I am here to give voice to the victim. Having been a victim of sexual assault myself, I am here at 51 years of age to tell you it's never too late to speak up. You don't have to be quiet anymore. You don't have to keep those secrets anymore. Yeah, there are going to be some people who will be hurt by what you share. There are going to be people who will be ashamed of what you share. But time is out for that. There's a time to build and a time to tear down. Well, I've come to tell you that Celeste, let me give you my full legal name. Celestine Tolles, T-O-L-E-S, Grayson, G-R-A-Y-S-O-N, owner and founder of Selexi Design, LLC, will speak out completely and totally and will reveal and divulge any information that is shared with me in a proper manner so that we can make other people aware and prevent anyone else from having to fall at the hands of some power-hungry, money bag carrying human being who clearly has issues of their own. Now, I don't know if you know this, but the main character in the book, The SINister's Wife, did admit to having a sexual addiction. And I'll say this, that had to come from somewhere. Now, we don't explore that in this book, but it is not my intent to demonize anyone, because clearly the person who thinks that they have control over another person's body has some sort of mental disease. 9 times out of 10, statistics say that they were once abused themselves. Yes, we repeat what we see. You know how rumors are a repetitive statement of something you heard. Behaviors take that same trajectory. We repeat what we see. I've told people over and over again, hurt people hurt people. So this is not to demonize anyone. This is to get the word out. This is to spread awareness. This is to make the scales fall off your eyes. This is to open up your ears. Get all the wax out so you can hear what the Spirit is saying. Not just to me, not just to you, but to the entire world. Our world is crying out for awareness. Somebody has to have the courage and the wisdom to speak up, to do something. Y'all remember the movie John Q? Do something! That's what I'm doing. I'm doing something. I'm using my voice. I'm using my gifts, talents, and ability to bring awareness to something that has gone on for millennia in our families, in our churches, in our place of business, even in our entertainment arenas. Sexual assault, sexual abuse, sexual misuse, all of that is running rampant in every aspect of our lives, whether you choose to see it or not. But I know many of you have eyes to see and ears to hear, yet you hear nothing and you see nothing and you definitely will not say nothing. Because being quiet ensures that you get to keep everything you think you've acquired in this world, knowing full well you can't take anything with you. But see, we've got so caught up on the material the materialistic life that has been forced down our throats, that we dare not speak up about injustice for fear of losing those things. I have nothing, and everything I have is on loan. That's the way I see it. I own nothing but this consciousness. That I own, and it exists eternally, infinitely, and no matter what body it ever occupies. I may not start off this way, but I can guarantee you I'll always come back to this, to truth. Now, in closing, I want to say again, if there is anything on this page that you find offensive, please unfollow, please unlike, and please block it, because that is not our intent. My intention is to increase awareness. My intention is to provide a forum for individuals who have gone through some level of sexual abuse, or who know someone who's gone through some level of sexual abuse. My intention is to let them know that they are not alone. And together, we can overcome any obstacle that the enemy and the adversary places in our path. There truly is strength in numbers. And regardless of how you feel about me as a person, as a businesswoman, it matters not. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here to increase awareness. I'm here to help you reclaim your power. I'm here to help you reclaim your voice. So speak up, ladies. Speak up, men. Speak up, little girls. Speak up, little boys. Never, ever feel or think that you have no value, because you do. But there is an adversary who is seeking to destroy you. And contrary to popular belief, your adversary does not look like the devil that you see in movies and in cartoons. It's not some animal-looking, red-bodied entity carrying a pitchfork. Sometimes the devil is your mother. Sometimes the devil is your father. Sometimes the devil is your employer. Sometimes the devil is your preacher. Sometimes the devil is your brother. Sometimes the devil is your sister. Sometimes the devil is your teacher. Sometimes the devil is your cousin, auntie, uncle, grandfather, grandmother, neighbor, stepbrother, stepfather, stepmother, stepsister. See, the devil doesn't discriminate. That negative, hurtful energy can rear its ugly head in anyone. And it's usually those you least suspect. I could go on and on and on today, but I'm going to just allow you to meditate on what I've said thus far. Because when the Spirit moves me, I'll be back, because I'm not done. I have a great deal more to say. So this is Celexi, also known as Celestine Tolles Grayson, speaking on behalf of the SINister's wife, the Gospel according to Mrs. Rochelle Miller Frazier, Your Life Reimagined in the Heaven's Mind book series, all divisions of Celexi Design LLC. Have a great day.